I am joined by my glorious co-hosts, of course, Rory Jennings, and of course, Mr. Buvey himself, Mr. Man City. And we are going to be talking about the title race, which is seemingly going down to the wire after Manchester United picked up their 14th defeat of the Premier League season.
Yeah, no, I think Spurs offer Arsenal the best opportunity for Arsenal to win the Premier League title, which obviously Arsenal fans won't be happy about. Fulham rolled over, really.
What was this about them playing with kites?
Well, they look like they're on the beach, mate. They look like they're on the beach.
I found it so brilliant. Arsenal fans, I think a lot of Arsenal fans actually pinpointed the Fulham game as the game where they could potentially...
I thought it was a tricky one.
I think a lot of people looked at Fulham and said, Tottenham aren't going to do them a favour. They're obviously going to smash West Ham. Fulham is the game. Fulham is the game where Manchester City could drop those crucial points to put Arsenal back into the driving seat. And Fulham were the team that Arsenal fans were pinning their hopes on. Tuesday, Fulham training pictures come out. And it's like Willian flying kites from that. It's like, God, they're on the beach, aren't they? They've completely packed up because they've had a brilliant season. They've survived. Any season for survival for Fulham it's a successful one, I think. And they clearly are taking their foot off the gas. That isn't taking anything away from Man City. Manchester City are a juggernaut. They are relentless. When it most matters, they are simply sensational. What they have done, do you know what I think really does demonstrate how fantastic Man City are? It's not the points tally as such. It's the fact that they have managed to close this goal difference. Like, how have they done that? You know, they've won 4-1 and 5-0, and they've basically put +4. You know, they've gone +4, +4, +2, +5.
Seem better for Arsenal.
We've done podcasts saying it would never get overturned this season. And I saw a world where it could because of Haaland. But you've seen someone like Guardiola scoring 2 goals. He scored 5 goals in all competitions
Bottled
this season.
The hat-trick chance. Bottled it.
Yeah, he had a chance, didn't he? But the first opportunity where he took it, I think it's 12 minutes in on his right foot, is out of this world.
No, I'm talking about the penalty. Did you see the conversation?
The penalty to give him the penalty.
They were. I think they were charitably suggesting that he takes the penalty to become the first ever defender in the Premier League era to have scored a hat-trick.
Wow.
No defender's ever done that. So I think it might have been Nathan Ake having the chat saying, do you want this, have the penalty? No, it was Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker was having the chat saying, take it, man, become the guy, and he didn't fancy it.
I like that it didn't happen. Maybe if you've already won the league.
Joking, yeah.
Yeah, no. But if it's against West Ham, I think you're right. But
if you're 4-0 up against
West Ham. But the quality of goal, mate, the quality of De Bruyne's ball back into him, the quality of Kovacic, the quality of Ruben Diaz, we are so far ahead of anyone else in the league in terms of quality. Obviously, Arsenal getting there, and they were fantastic against Man United. We'll talk about that, but out of this world against Fulham.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable quite how good City have been. The points tally itself as well is also just mind-blowingly good. And it's the ease with which you're doing it. Like, you know, I'm watching Man City games in a very weird situation for me. I'm watching Man City games, very, very keen for Manchester City to win the game. So I'm watching it. In fact, I'm watching it exactly like you. It's a very rare occurrence for you and I to be totally on the same page watching a football match. We're watching a game, and it starts, and I think, please, City, please. And after about 15 minutes, my fears have totally subsided. It's in the bag. 15 minutes into the game.
Does it feel that way being a fan? Because I remember, like, when Man United were the best team, and I'm sure when Chelsea were the best, everyone's going, you're going to win the league, but you still feel that. You don't feel like you're going to. Every year you feel like something could be better.
But they're 1-0 up after 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel it against Spurs because they can be a weird club and they can get an early goal. But Fulham, we've got a very, very good record against Fulham. We score a lot of goals against Fulham. I always felt confident against Fulham, and even West Ham at home. I think Spurs is a genuine obstacle for City.
They're terrible, though. You know, if we take away Spursism and Man City's record against Tottenham and the fact that Tottenham stopped Man City getting to the Champions League semi-final, if you take all of that away and you just look, this is 11 players versus another collection of 11 players. This is one manager versus another singular manager. Tottenham don't get a sniff. Postecoglou and his high line get totally exploited.
That's a good point. Tactically, he's playing into City's hands.
What's happening, everyone? I'm terribly sorry for interrupting your clip, but trust me, you were going to want to hear this. We are partnered with Super 6, and guess what they are providing us with? The opportunity to play football alongside the club, all members of the club, in a glamorous football team playing at the Den. We're going to be playing against Pitchside. You could join us. All you need to do is download the app in the description below. And if you finish top of our league, you will be playing with us at the Den against Pitchside. Make sure that you click the link in the description below. A huge thank you to Super 6. Enjoy the rest of the video.
But is there something up their sleeves? Also, you look at just pure Spursiness. I've just got a feeling they get a 1-1 or a 1-0 by accident. like almost just by accident.
But
'Cause you can
how
imagine
does
their
that
fans
back line,
don't want them to
but
do.
how does that back line, realistically, if we explore this, right, how does that back line at Tottenham that are so porous keep this Man City strike force that is so threatening at bay? Like how? Like apart from kind of going, it's Tottenham, and you kind of go into witchcraft, don't you? You go, oh, but it's Spursy. Oh, but it's City's record. You're talking witchcraft here.
Yeah, you also look at the Spurs
witchcraft,
results last year were very much Conte-style football.
Negative.
Ange hasn't got that in his locker.
But the issue is, he actually tried it against City. He played a very low block and he kept it 0-0. We had to score in the 93rd minute, I think, Nathan Ake. So
was that in the cup?
So yeah, in the FA Cup, and he fielded a strong side. So we talk about Ange Postecoglou being naive and having his high line when he shouldn't be doing it against the likes of Arsenal. He actually has tried it this season against City and kept us quiet for 90% of the game.
Did you put
it's
out your
interesting that he doesn't do that against Arsenal or Chelsea.
Did you put out your strongest team that day?
It was very strong, yeah.
It was a strong
There's
side.
probably a couple of changes.
They take
but it
the
was
cup
strong.
seriously, City. They do take the cup seriously.
I just honestly don't see a world where Manchester City are in a beautiful situation, which is win 3 games, win the double. Think about what we know of Man City. Like, if I said to you, say we were having a conversation in August last year, and I went, if Man City got themselves into a situation where they had to beat Tottenham, West Ham and Manchester United, a woeful Man United, and you didn't demonstrate any bias either, they need to beat those 3 clubs and they will win the double off the back of winning a treble, which is historic. Do they win those games, Adam?
Yes, but also I think Arsenal are different this year. We saw Arsenal towards the back end of last season kind of fall. The wheels fell off. And I think it makes the dressing room just go...
No, Arsenal will win their games. Arsenal will win their game.
Arsenal are very different. And I think, look, Manchester United aren't in the best form. Of course they're not. Lost 13 games before Arsenal arrived at Old Trafford in the league. Of course we're not in the best form. But I still think half of City's side would have been going, Arsenal might not win that. And therefore it makes things... But you're keeping the pressure on right up until the last week of the season. 1 week to go, 2 games to go. You've got to go away to Spurs. I think it's a lot more pressure than City have been on previously.
It is, but not by Liverpool.
Season.
They've done it before.
Yeah,
they've
not by
had
Arsenal,
this,
you mean?
Not by Arsenal. Yeah, sorry, not by Arsenal. By Liverpool.
Yeah,
Manchester City have been under immense pressure, more pressure because the point tally was higher. So they've had to do more across the season to win the league.
Still, you never know. Teams can wobble.
Red card.
An early red card,
injury,
Someone gets
God
sent
forbid.
off.
No, of course. But by this, what we're talking about here, it's not quite witchcraft, but it's unlikely. And it's likely, what you're suggesting here, it's as likely that this happens to City as, if I go, Arsenal are going to beat Everton, but red card. What do you think
of the? What do you think the atmosphere will be like at
White Hart Lane?
Yeah.
It'll be amazing. Always call it White Hart Lane. You
Yeah.
should have gone with your initial. I still call Southampton's ground the Dell, and I never will change. I think White Hart Lane will be fascinating. And do you know what? I never want to go to Tottenham. I don't want to ever be surrounded by Tottenham fans. I'm intimidated massively. But I would love to go to it, just to experience it, just to feel it, because I think it will be a sensation in a football ground like no other. Like, I know my way around a football stadium, right? As the both of you. I know the feeling, I know the culture, I know the conduct, I know the people, I know exactly how you feel in a football stadium. But I have never experienced this. I don't know how many games are. 500 games. This is unlike anything that I've ever experienced following England or Chelsea. They're going to go to the ground, and 99% of the Tottenham fans who have season tickets and have bought tickets for this game, who pledge their life, they commit their time and their money to going to Tottenham and following Tottenham, they're going to the game hoping to see their team lose 10-0. It's amazing. Man City go 2-0 up. The Tottenham fans will be doing the Tottenham fans will be doing the
playing squad. That feeling.
No, because it doesn't apply to the players. Because I'm making this up, right? This is a rivalry thing. Van der Ven doesn't have any rivalry with Arsenal. He's probably mates with Trossard. He don't care. Like, this isn't a player thing. I'm not suggesting that there will be anything bent about the way that Tottenham will approach the game. I don't think there'll be any. I don't think there'll be anything in terms of the players.
Players pulling up with dodgy injuries.
No, nothing. Ange Postecoglou will be desperate to win the game. Ange Postecoglou will be desperate to get the 3 points, as will every player representing Tottenham Hotspur. But every fan in the ground, apart from the idiots, that Burke, the Burke who sort of goes, "No, mate, I want to win every game." Yeah. Like, apart from the idiot who doesn't understand the nuances in football, I've never been in a ground where everyone is supporting the same team. This is it.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. You're going to try and go. Are we live?
Well, we're live.
And that's a shame, man, because
Yeah, I know.
like you could easily get a ticket, I reckon, because Tottenham fans will be giving them away.
Yeah.
It's not a million miles from where you live. It would be like
amazing experience.
Yeah,
Amazing experience.
yeah.
It'll be interesting.
But if you can't beat Spurs, you don't deserve to win the Premier League title. To be honest.
It's just Pep as well, which gives you a little bit different, isn't it? Like, you know, that Pep factor as well. So you always just think Pep will come out on top. It's been a very long
I
time
think
since
City, though, you know, at one point, Guardiola was not bigger than City, but you know, Mourinho did it at Chelsea. You know, like the Mourinho fact. Chelsea couldn't win a league until Mourinho came in. Mourinho left and we still were good. You know, we dipped, but obviously we won a lot of leagues since Mourinho. I think that Guardiola has got them as a club. Like they were a ship that were a bit rocky, going through troubled waters. Guardiola set them on a straight and narrow and made them impenetrable.
Also, you look at...
If you take the captain off, the ship keeps sailing, man.
you look at the fact as well with City is that a lot of... Like, when Fergie left Manchester United, for example, Fergie was everything to that club.
Yeah.
CEO, the director of football, everyone.
Not quite the same.
Like, Man City have the correct setup in place to enable the next... It's just whether the manager... And plus, before Pep, you won leagues. Maybe not as much and not as
The
consistent.
lack of European success, I think.
But you won leagues.
Will be interesting. It depends what a City fan, maybe what you lads would think a City fan should expect from the money invested, from the success we've had. As a City fan, winning an FA Cup, getting to cup finals is still an amazing experience.
Does that not, does that,
I don't
that
think you win
change
4
now, though?
trophies a season or 3. I don't think that happens as much.
Those discussions.
But I think league titles, they'll still be there or there.
Yeah, of course.
Especially if they go and get the next best in class.
What are we talking about
Whoever
here? City post Pep?
Yeah. Do you think they'll be as dominant?
Yeah, I do.
Pressing, isn't it?
I
don't think it'll be the
Because
same level.
I think what will happen is whoever the next Guardiola is, I'm not saying that they need to be as good as Guardiola, but Guardiola is the best manager in the world. Whoever the best manager in the world is next will be the City manager.
Xabi Alonso.
If Xabi Alonso...
Maybe not.
The issue with Alonso, is the Liverpool thing. But
I think
whoever the second,
It's Real Madrid, I think. Yeah,
and Liverpool though.
I think
know
he's
about
after
Liverpool.
Ancelotti.
Yeah, I think.
knows.
Do you think that's what he's aiming?
I think he knows. Yeah. Spanish as well. You got to remember.
Yeah, he played for him.
Like, you know what I mean? He played for Real Madrid, but he's
So did his
Spanish.
father, I think.
Yeah,
So
so
did,
I
you know
think-
the Alonso. You know the Alonso.
I think maybe he
dynasty?
didn't want to fail at Liverpool.
Marcus Alonso is part of it. It's a dynasty in España, Viva España. No, it's a dynasty. The Alonsos, the racing driver,
Fernando.
Marcus's father, Xavi's father. They're
Big connections.
They're
Big
like-
connections.
they're like the Lampards.
Like the Hiltons.
Can you think
The
of
Hiltons, yeah.
Who's a
yeah,
football? Is there a footballing dynasty in this country?
The
Lampard.
Nevilles.
No, is there a 3? Granddad,
Oh, that's a good question.
Right? Ian Wright?
Ian Wright.
The Johnsons,
Bradley
Gary
Wright,
Johnson
Phillips,
and Lee Johnson.
Sean Wright, Phillips. That's the closest you're going to
Yeah,
get. Like,
yeah. You said Bradley Wright Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sturridge, Dean Sturridge, Daniel Sturridge.
Oh, yeah.
All the boys that are coming through at Liverpool, the entire Liverpool team that won the League Cup against Chelsea.
Jaden Downs, Neil
Everyone.
Downs.
Yeah, and the boy that played for Newcastle.
Kashba Peter.
Lee Clark.
Lee Clark,
Bobby Clark,
Yeah.
wasn't Anyway, this has taken a turn.
It's a good
Good game, though. Good game.
Good game. Yeah, just wondering, man, do we still think they'll be picking, like, you know, is this Pep that we're seeing right now? Is this relentless?
It isn't. It isn't. It is. Of course it is. But the club is so perfect as well. The players are so perfect. I don't think... Say Guardiola were to leave at the end of next season. I don't think he will. I think he'll do 10 years now, right? But say he leaves at the end of next season. Phil Foden knows the standards of the club. Phil Foden,
Yeah, but hold on. We probably would have said a little bit about that when Fergie left and that.
No, but he
Like,
left
he's
a team
set,
that wasn't
like,
good,
something
didn't
up
he?
there.
He didn't leave a good
But
team.
also, it's like, how many players go to City for Pep? How many players go there for that project? Does that start to change? Are you viewed differently once Pep leaves? I think a lot of those.
I suppose it depends who goes
the
in.
manager-
Definitely not the same. It's
Depends
definitely,
who goes
There
in.
is a drop-off for sure.
Yeah, depends who goes in.
It'll be interesting though. But I mean, they won things with Mancini and Pellegrini, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me at all. We had Hugh on the podcast, which was great. If you haven't seen the live show from the weekend, Man United Arsenal, we had Hugh Wizzy on, and we were kind of debating when Arsenal start demanding success, like what. Because he said we'll win a trophy next year or the year after, but what does that trophy look like? Does it have to be a Premier League, Champions League for this team?
Mikel Arteta has done incredibly well, and I'm full of praise and awareness of how well he's done. But he's been at the club for 4 years. They haven't won anything for 3 years.
As it stands, they've won one FA Cup.
Yeah, within 6 months with Unai Emery's team.
Yeah.
COVID Cup as well.
Agreed. Against Frank Lampard, who everybody laughs at. You know what I mean? Like, look, they won the cup and that is huge. But it was 4 years ago now. 4 years ago, nothing for 3 years. I think next year, 5th year, spent a lot of money. I think next year, Arsenal fans, whether they do or they don't, I don't know. But I think they are realistically allowed to demand success. I don't think they're being greedy or premature.
I think a lot of them are too patient.
Like,
Way too
with
patient.
Pep and City there, like, maybe this is just me making myself feel better, but part of me goes, imagine Man United were good anyway. Fucking means fuck all, because unless you're perfect, you're not winning the league. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's not true. Because
Like,
if you are perfect,
But the
you will
City
win.
side aren't perfect this season.
Yeah.
We've got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, not in the League Cup. The FA Cup final, yeah, we've been fantastic. We're going to get a low 90 points
Remember,
to
if
win the league.
Arsenal had beaten Fulham away or West
Oh,
Ham at
90s
home, they
is
would
high.
have. But if Arsenal
Not
had
anymore.
if Arsenal had beaten Fulham, they would currently be above.
But that's what I mean. You have to be near on. We're literally going, back in the day, you could afford to lose a game or two like that.
This is a very long time
We're
ago.
literally going.
No,
they,
what-
they dropped points
Conte's
against Fulham.
Chelsea got over 90 points.
Yeah. So did Mourinho's.
Many
do you
years
know-
ago.
But do you know what changed? I think, and this is to do with the brilliance of Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, but Guardiola really. They changed the value of the draw. Back in the day, there was such a thing as a really good point. Good point at Goodison. Really good point at Goodison. Really good point at Fratton Park. There isn't a good point at Fratton Park anymore. There isn't a good point. There isn't a good point at Goodison Park.
Draw at Fulham now, you're like, fuck.
Mate, if you go to
Yeah.
the Stadium of Light, as it was there, like when they were in the Premier League, you go to the Stadium of Light and you get a point on a Wednesday night. Yeah, good point. Good point. Guardiola has totally erased the value in the draw.
And Klopp drove that rivalry.
Klopp as well. Yeah.
Without
The two
Klopp,
of them.
I don't think those points do get to 100 points.
Well, there was
I don't think
that
they do.
season when they hit
doesn't have to
97.
go.
That
No,
season
exactly.
when Man City hit 98 to win the league and Liverpool hit 97 and didn't. They were doing it to each other. They were both winning all the time.
Crazy,
Yeah. They were doing it to each
We had
other.
to win 13 in a row, something like that, to win the league title.
If Liverpool didn't win all those games, Man City don't win all those games.
crazy.
Yeah. They
But that's the nature of sport. So you can't, if you get 89 points come second as an Arsenal fan, you're sat there, annoyed about that, and you're blaming City, and you're bringing up the charges, you're bringing up. No, they spent a load of money, and you weren't able to beat Fulham, West Ham. I know these are, and Aston Villa's the big one. I know Aston Villa are a great side. That they're going to be in the Champions League. They got smashed in the Conference League.
Should have beat them at home.
They're a side that got loads of injuries. You have to be at least draw with. You can't get beat by Villa at home in the business end of the season. I'm sorry. This isn't what we talk about. League
But
Two.
do you know
We
what
talk
though?
about the Vanarama
But do you know what though,
Conference
Booth?
League. Premier
What
League.
about if I put it in context though? So I get what you're saying. You know when you isolate it and you go business end of the season, you're playing a team like Aston Villa, who we've seen concede 4 goals to Tottenham recently. We've seen concede 4 goals to Man City recently. We've seen drop points to Chelsea recently. Even you have to beat that team, and in isolation, I think you make a good point, and it sounds fair. What about if I put it in context and go, Arsenal won 17 of 19 games. One of those games that they didn't win was the point at the Etihad that they wanted.
Yeah.
And one of those games that they didn't win was the loss that you're
So
talking
why did they have
about.
to catch up in the new year and create this record that made them competitive? Because at the end of December, at home to West Ham,
But you don't lose the league in December, do you? Or do you now?
you do.
Or do you now?
course you
Okay,
do.
fine.
Of course you
Because I would say usually, and I think even Guardiola would have at one point conformed to this, that the league, what happens pre-Christmas doesn't really determine the league. But
West
maybe
Ham
now
Fulham were
it does.
Post-Christmas, weren't they? Right at the end of December. Right at the end of December.
Just
I think
before
Fulham-
Christmas, but
Was
end
it?
of December, yeah. I think like
What?
the 19th and the 23rd or something, something like that.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Because the game
If you know what
bunched
you're
up quite
competing,
quickly,
and they
don't
know exactly what. It's not like it's a random side. They knew exactly from last season what they have to do to win the league. And I know it's like, yes, it's not easy, the Premier League, of course not, but 89 points, that's not the highest in the world. Arsenal aren't going to get 95 points come second.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry, Buvey. It was 28th and the 31st.
Yeah, so right at the end of December, that is
Yeah, but
serious.
it's
It's not October, is it?
no, but no, it is though.
They
Because I
lost,
think it's
they
a
lost
turn of
against
the
Villa
year.
in October.
If you're still
Two in a row they lost.
December as well, sorry.
if you're still in touching distance, which they were at the turn of the year,
They were top, mate. They were top, then dropped to fourth. We've never seen that drop off before in the Premier League title race. No side's ever been first turn of the year.
I mean, you're
and then
obviously
dropped to
right.
fourth.
You're obviously right because that's what we've seen. I just think, from my experience of supporting a club that has won the league, it has changed so much since my team was competing to win it. Because Chelsea haven't launched a serious and sustained bid for the league since we last won it, which is not far off 10 years ago. In fact, it's the anniversary today of the last time we won it, right?
Wow.
Which is 7 years ago. You didn't need to be top at the turn of the year. You needed to be top at Easter. Do you know what I mean? That's when it. Whereas now, maybe you do need to be. Maybe it's changed so much that if you are going to drop points in that lull between Christmas and New Year, it will cost you in May.
The big one is 247 days at the top of the table and not beating Southampton home or away last season. That's the big one. I think we're talking about very small margins here. Aston Villa's not an easy team to play, of course not, and they lost in Birmingham as well. But this is Conte went into Chelsea within a year, wins the league title. Ranieri, same with Leicester City. Mourinho, both times at Chelsea. It's taken him 5 years to compete. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd expect a little bit more.
So do you think they should be demanding success next season? And when you say success, can you define that?
Winning the Premier League or the Champions League. They're not going to win the Champions League. He's got one shot. He has to win the Premier League.
Because that's what Klopp did. What Klopp did was not only were they challenging for the Premier League, where they were also one of the best teams in Europe because they proved it on a regular basis.
But it's different.
You know what I mean?
It's different at Liverpool.
They were in the European Cup. They got to finals even when they didn't win them. They won one. Like if Arsenal win a Champions League but they don't win the league, you can go, well, it's very difficult to win the league. You won the Champions League. Well done. That's amazing. That's success. And FA Cup ain't going to cut it with the expectations they've set and the build. And we've seen these Arsenal fans. The Arsenal fans will turn real soon.
They're not doing that at the moment. They're really happy at the moment.
Isn't going to last long.
But it's lasted longer than perhaps you would have thought it would. Like, why are the expectations not there then? If I'd said to you when Arteta got the job, if I said to you he won't win anything for 4 more years, you would have said he'll be sacked by then. Would you?
That's true. That's true.
So why haven't they...
I think he benefited from the fact that a lot of Arsenal fans, maybe similar to United fans at the moment, where they went, we've just been sacking everyone, let's just everyone calm down.
That's how I feel about Pochettino.
This is just, let's stop sacking everyone. Like, surely we have to stick... I think he benefited from a little bit of that.
Yeah, because they sacked Emery, didn't they?
They changed a lot upstairs. He benefited from kind of waiting for that to take a trickle-down effect. So I do think, ultimately, eventually he's going to come to a point where they're like, yeah, but this guy hasn't won us the league. And then what Arsenal fans are going to do, kind of what England fans are doing now, we need the guy that's going to turn us into winners.
It feels like England.
Who's the guy? Remember when Poch left Spurs? Bring Mourinho in, he'll make this team win. They're eventually going to get delusions.
Well, I suppose at some point, and I don't know if it's true or not, but at some point you'll be able to say, you always make the comparison, don't you? Who was it who laid the groundwork? Do you say it's Mark Hughes? Who laid the groundwork?
Mancini.
No, someone laid the groundwork for Mancini to come in and win the league.
Mark Hughes had a positive influence for sure. Mancini laid the groundwork for a lot of Guardiola's success.
So maybe at Chelsea, we had Ranieri, we did all right, and then you bring Mourinho in to win it. Liverpool got quite close with Brendan Rodgers. They bring Klopp in to win it. Maybe Arteta's going to get close, and they bring in
Nagelsmann or something
to win it. I don't know.
Because you do get greedy in it, and you do. Arsenal are a huge club who have been starved of success.
But they're weirdly patient at the moment, aren't they? They're no Arsenal fan that I know is calling for Arteta's head.
Not yet, but But
he's been there 4 years.
I still think they'll win the league.
5 years.
But if they don't win the league, it's going to be 20. How many years?
21 at the earliest. It will be 21 at the earliest. If they win it next year, it'll be 21.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Well, there's an entire generation of Arsenal fans that don't know that feeling. The parade down Upper Street and that. There's an entire... I remember my school used to get shut off for that. Do you know? I genuinely remember my school would get shut off for the Arsenal parade.
Class.
No Arsenal. There's an entire generation of kids that have been born, started school, finished school. Their school never got shut off for that.
No.
But they aren't. Arsenal fans are way more demanding of Emery than they've ever been of Arteta.
Yeah.
They just love Arteta.
Yeah.
Because I think they also have a preconceived image of how Arsenal should play and be. And Arteta ticks more of those boxes than Emery did.
Yeah. What's the best he could do?
We'll accept being shit, but we want to enjoy what we're watching, right?
What do you think is the best that he could do and still get sacked?
Like, he could finish fourth.
I think he could do better than that.
Get to the last 16 of the Champions League and still get sacked.
No, I think that would be a sack in fourth, because that means that Chelsea...
Sack him came fourth.
Fourth is a sacking. I think they could...
Hold on a minute.
Could they sack him and finish second?
Fourth isn't... Like, let's say Chelsea get better, Manchester United get better, Newcastle...
No, but fourth is symbolically bad because they finished second.
But it still gives you the same thing as second.
No, but my question... Yeah, maybe.
Regression.
But the best that he could finish and still get sacked is better than fourth, don't you think?
I think he could sacked for finishing third.
I think he could get sacked for finishing second. second, not win a cup and
Should
drop
be.
out.
I don't think. I think the ownership.
Imagine
will
If
do
they
that.
finish second and like Leicester won the league, maybe.
Second than anyone other
But
than
if
City.
City win
if
it,
they,
it's
if they
a bit-
finish second and anyone other than City wins it.
I think they'll win the league this year.
I think they'll
know
keep
what I'm
him
talking about.
more likely. But
I don't know what I'm talking about. I think they're going to win it this year.
And what about next season's title race then? Do you think it's those two?
Man United are going to win it.
Right?
And they do this every year. So
And do you think it's them again, though, realistically? Is it City, Arsenal? Or is it going to be Newcastle? Or is
I don't think Liverpool are anywhere close.
They're a bit close. They've got to be close.
Not with Arnie Slot coming in. I think there's a big change there. And I think a lot of the players that have got used to Klopp and everything will be like, you're not my dad. Don't tell me what to do.
Okay, so
I
not
think a lot of
Liverpool.
that, I think it'll be City running away with it.
Again,
Arsenal. I think it'll be clear. Arsenal will finish second or third. Wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea get.
although if you think Arsenal win the league this year, that means Arsenal will be going into its hold. That would put them in pole position to retain. Like, when you win your champions, you know what I mean?
City don't go 2 years without winning the league. You're mad.
If Arsenal are champions, though,
No, but if Arsenal win it this year, City win it next year.
I think
100%.
I feel like once you won it once, if they get that hoodoo, if they get over that hoodoo, I feel like they're
Arsenal
more
have
likely
never
to
defended a
retain.
Premier League title.
no, we're
So
more
they'll be
likely.
doing something their greatest team's never done.
I think we're more likely to see 5 in a row from City than 1 in the next 2 years for Arsenal. I know that sounds ridiculous. I don't
That's
see
mad
Arsenal
when
winning
all
it
it
this
takes is
season.
one result this week.
It's not happening.
I know. But I don't see Arsenal winning it this season. And next season, imagine a City side next season with some of the players that have to kick on. John Stones back to full fitness, and we spend the money that obviously we can spend. Arsenal will spend a lot of money
You know,
as
one
well.
of the things for Arsenal, they need to get players that are compete with Saka and that, because Saka's playing an unreal
Too
amount
many
of
games.
football. They need competition with.
But I think they have quite a lot of that.
Not
Gabriel
on Saka's
Jesus,
side.
Gabriel Jesus can play that side. They've got Gabriel Jesus that side, Leandro Trossard and Martinelli the other side.
Everything seems to be funneled down the left low. And Jesus kind of plays there. Everyone
Trossard
else
and-
plays there. Saka's the only one. Get something so you can rest this guy.
They need to be ruthless. I'd get rid of Jesus if I was the ownership at Arsenal. If
do a
you
job in the
can
squad.
Nah, you
get a
get rid of
world-class striker,
Nketiah.
Get rid of
You get rid of it, and then
and Reece
Jesus
Nelson.
becomes the Nketiah.
I'll get rid of Aaron Ramsdale. Send a message. Get some big money in for English keeper. That's 35 million quid
do you
ready
think
to go.
Do you think City spend money in the summer
I do. Yeah, the club.
on anyone in
last-
particular?
Not that I've seen in terms of rumours, but obviously the kid from Girona, we talked about it on the stream. For ethical reasons, we don't know if that's good or bad, but he's a very, very talented player, of course. It's very hard. How do you improve the City side? Because a lot of them are going to come in and be bench warmers.
Do you think you need
Maybe a
you
left
need
back.
cover centre half, left back?
I think Guardiola makes a move to centre back next season, and that is
That's enough.
imperious.
Yeah.
He's incredible, mate. He really is.
It's very interesting. Are there any other clubs? Man City will obviously be in the title race, whether you think they win it or not. It's kind of neither here nor there. Arsenal will obviously be in the title race, whether you think about it or think they win it, doesn't matter. Anyone else? For example,
Chelsea are
are
out.
Chelsea? Yeah, are Chelsea in the title race?
Dark horses.
Are Newcastle in the title race?
Newcastle are out.
Are Villa in the title race?
No.
Are Manchester
Villa-
United in the title race?
You know if City had let's say City win the double and then Pep resigns, Villa could potentially then go, oh, we got Emery. Like we got one of the best managers in the league. Pep's gone.
What is
You know,
it?
after Pep goes, you could see a weird thing like that happen.
Definitely.
what does
You
it
know,
take?
like a Villa or something.
What does it take for Chelsea and Manchester United to be involved in this conversation next year?
We've got so much to do in terms of the structures of the clubs and stuff like that.
Do you think you keep
Like-
Ten Hag?
About a month ago, I was pretty sure we do. Now I'm like,
Do you know what I said before you played Arsenal? I said the only way he keeps his job is if Manchester United win the 3 games that they have between now and the end of the season, including the Man City Cup game. I said that he needs to win them all to keep his job off the back of the Selhurst Park game.
I don't. But you know what the thing is, bro. Look, this isn't me making excuses for him, but how can you expect us to beat Arsenal with that team? Like, just look at the 11 we had out there.
In the same way that I expected
Like, you know, if,
Fulham to beat Arsenal.
you know, but in the sense that if Man United had their full strength team out, or close to, you never have a full strength. Let's say we just had 4 injuries only. You go, I expect Man United to win at home against Arsenal. Even whether we were 4th, 5th, 6th. But when you're rocking up with Johnny Evans and Casemiro at centre-back, I never expected us to win that game. And the owners would be stupid to expect us to win that game.
So you think stick with Ten Hag for another season?
Me, Adam McKola, thinks stick with Ten Hag for the rest of it.
And your prediction on what the club do?
I don't think is there.